Hello and welcome to Rain Francis Art. My name is Rain. Well, I've pulled out my acrylic paints today, my friends, because I wanted to paint a field of flowers. If you'd like to join along, let's begin. This is what I'll be using for today's painting. I've got some Strathmore watercolor paper. It's 9 by 12 inches, 140 pounds, and it's the 300 series. And even though we're using acrylic paint today, I'm still going to use watercolor paper. I have a couple of palettes here, a regular palette, and I have a dish. I'm going to be using dollar store crafters acrylic paint today, so I'm going to show you which ones I'm using. I'm going to be using blue. It's called Peacock blue. I have yellow. It's called bright yellow. This is a purple color called African violet. I have a green color called Christmas green. And I have white. So I'm going to be using these today. As for paintbrushes, I have just a dollar store 1-inch paintbrush. I have one of these foamy type of paintbrushes too. I have my palette knife. I have some paper towels that I'm going to be crushing up using the Bob Ross method, and I have some cotton swabs. Okay, I'm going to be using probably all of these things today. And of course I have my Bob Ross playing cards, so let's see what Bob Ross wants us to know today before we start our painting. These things live right in your brush. All you have to do is shake them out. Basically, you have all the creativity within you. You just have to try. You just have to do it. Thank you, Bob Ross. Let's do it. All right, I've taped down my canvas here. And I'm just going to grab a clean dollar store brush that I've never used and will never use for painting, just to wipe off all of the dust from my canvas here. This is going to be a very easy painting, my friends. A lot of people do this online. You can see this everywhere online. I'm pouring a little bit of blue here for the sky. And then I'm going to take that green color and I'm going to pour it for the grass. If I have to add more, I will. Now, I personally like to have a wet brush. I have my palettes in the way. I'm just going to move those. I have a very limited space here, my friends. All right, so I'm just wetting my brush off camera and blotting it so that it's not super, super wet. And I'm just going to make the sky blue. I wanted to do a flower field today, and I was looking at ideas online, and I couldn't quite find what I wanted to do, so I kind of took some ideas from a few different places. There we go. That's my sky. I'm going to rinse off my brush. I just realized when I stopped the camera for a moment that there was glare on my page, so I changed my lighting, so it might look a little darker now, but I think it's better without the glare. So with a clean brush, I'm just going to do the same thing and make my grassy area. Acrylic paint dries quite quickly, so I'm just going to go carefully and get that green all the way up here. There we go. I'm going to rinse off my brush again. Now what I'm going to do is, there's a little bit too much green, too much thick paint, and this is up to you. I just don't feel like waiting for it to dry, so I'm going to wipe some of it off. Okay, so now I'm bringing in my palette brush, and what I'm going to do is just make some lines with my palette brush. This is a Bob Ross technique with oil painting. We may not see these in the end, but it's going to kind of look like the stems of the flowers, if there's anything that shows through. Just trying to get all over the green, but not too high. I don't want to get any of the scrape marks into the blue. There we go. Now I'm going to let that dry and continue. My blue is almost dry, so I'm going to apply a little bit of white with my sponge brush, because I want to make some clouds, but I want them to be kind of wispy. And I'm kind of making a few little sort of round shapes here. That's all I'm going to do with that. Now my green is still wet, so I'm going to let that dry for a little bit. My green is dry, so I'm taking that same 1-inch paintbrush and I've cleaned it off, and I'm going to dip it into my yellow, just the tip. This is another Bob Ross style that he does, or he did, with his oil painting. And I love this so much. I love this technique. What I'm doing is I'm just basically putting a background of flowers onto my canvas. I'm not loading up my brush. I'm just the tips, you see? And I'm just dabbing it on quite lightly. It does a really good job. I love this technique so much. You can't really do this with watercolor, but you can do it with acrylic, and you can definitely do it with oil. And one thing that I'm going to be starting in this year, 2023, is I'm going to be doing some oil painting videos. Oops, sorry for the banging. I have all of the paints and the brushes. I'm missing the canvases because they're quite expensive, but I thought, you know what? If I have a little extra money, why don't I just go for it and buy some canvases and show you guys some oil painting. I learned how to do oil painting by watching Bob Ross. Alright, so now we've got our flower field here, just the background. You could actually leave it just like that. I think it looks great like this. But we're going to add some more details after this dries. I've taken some of that blue color, and with my clean sponge brush, I put just a little bit of water in there because I wanted to create a bit of a wash. And I'm going to go over the sky with my wash. I don't want to erase the white. I just want to put a wash of blue over it. And I'm being careful because I don't want to get anything into the flower field. There we go. That's what I was looking for, because I thought before that the white was just a little too white in the sky. There we go. Now I'm going to work on the fields again. I've put some of that purple color onto my plate, and with that same clean 1-inch brush, I'm doing the same thing with the purple. Just the tip, and I'm wiping some of it off, and I'm going to go across with some of that African violet purple. The reason I chose yellow and purple today was because this week on my blog, rainfrancis.com or rainfrancisart.com, they both point to the same place, I have a weekly art date I call Thursday Art and Dinner Date, where people link their blog posts and they can show their art or their foodie photos and share recipes. It's kind of a lot of fun. We have a good dozen or so people that participate every week. And I have a prompt, but the prompt is always optional. You don't have to use the prompt. But this week the prompt is complementary colors. Yellow and purple are complementary colors, so I wanted to incorporate that into my painting this week. So there we've got some nice purple flowers and yellow flowers, and we're going to let that dry. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some more yellow flowers. Now I've got my cotton swab, and I'm just dipping it in, and I'm just going to put some round spots all over my painting. Now I want to show you something. I saw this trick. You see, I've taped a whole bunch of them together. I saw this. There's a guy on YouTube. His name is Jay Lee. He's got a really popular painting channel, and I saw this trick on his channel. So I'm going to link the description in the description below, the link to his channel, because he's got some really fun videos that I think you guys are going to like if you go and check him out. We've got to promote our fellow artists. He did a similar one like this too, I think, with yellow flowers in a field. I love this trick though. Isn't that kind of neat? I'm going to do the same thing with the white. Just going to grab my white. I still have yellow on it, but that's okay. I'm going to wipe some off, and I'm very lightly going to put some white here and there. I think that's the neatest trick I've seen in a long time. Very Bob Ross style, you know, making things easy. Look at that. I think that looks really cool. I'm going to go right back into the yellow and do the same thing. Just covering some of the white. I want some white, but I don't want it to be stark white. You know what I mean? I think we have a really nice flower field there. All right, my friends, that's all I'm doing. I am going to pull the masking tape off and reveal the masterpiece. Go carefully because my painting is still a little wet. I love the look of a framed painting. Oops. There we go. So that's a really nice, easy way to make a beautiful flower field. What do you think, my friends? Doesn't that look pretty? I can't believe how easy that was to do. I hope that you enjoyed this video, my friends, and if you did, please like and subscribe, and don't forget to leave me a comment. I love reading your comments, and I do reply to them. So I'll see you next time on Rain Francis Art. Thanks again for watching. Bye!